Good Friday, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Conversations Daily News. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. Well, we made it to the end of another week, and boy, what a week this has been. Thank you all so much for your support. Yesterday, we celebrated my 10,000th guest of my 17 years of hosting Conversations Live. It ended up being actor, producer, and author Sean Kanan. So pleased that he was able to join us during our marathon day of interviews yesterday, and thank all of you for tuning in and also for being a part of it. For today's broadcast, we of course have your news headlines coming up. We have the truth of the day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich, and in today's entertainment spotlight, you being part of my conversation with entrepreneur and photographer Wendell Bertrand. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversations Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Friday headlines. In Mississippi news, the Mississippi State Department of Health has reported 911 new COVID-19 cases and 23 additional deaths. There have now been in Mississippi 284,664 COVID-19 cases and 6,390 coronavirus-related deaths in the state since March of 2020. State Health Officer Dobbs released information on Thursday on vaccinations in-state versus out-of-state. COVID-19 vaccinations are intended for Mississippi residents and those who work in the state, but may live elsewhere, state health officials said on Thursday. But please know that thus far, more Mississippians have received the vaccine in adjacent states than out-of-state residents have received the vaccine in Mississippi. The state epidemiologist Dr. Paul Beers said the state has made great progress in vaccinating vulnerable populations in Mississippi. He said the state has prioritized those at high risk of severe illness or death from the virus. Our vaccine supply is limited and is based on a per capita allocation from the federal government, he said. Healthcare workers, those 65 and older, and people with qualifying medical conditions are currently eligible to receive the vaccine in the Magnolia State. In national news, after Democrats' visceral presentation, Trump team on stage. After a prosecution case rooted in emotional, violent images from the Capitol siege, Donald Trump's impeachment trial shifts today to defense lawyers prepared to make a fundamental concession. The violence was every bit as traumatic, unacceptable, and illegal as Democrats say, but they will say Trump had nothing to do with it. Stipulating to the horrors of the day is meant to blunt the visceral impact of the House Democrats' case and quickly pivot to what they see as the core and more winnable issue of the trial, whether Trump can be held responsible for inciting the deadly January 6th riot. The argument is likely to appeal to Republican senators who themselves want to be seen as condemning the violence without convicting the president. They haven't in any way tied it to Trump, said one of the president's lawyers to reporters near the end of 2 full days of Democrats' arguments aimed at doing just that. He previewed the essence of his argument Tuesday, telling the Senate jurors, "They don't need to show you movies to show you that the riot happened here. We will stipulate that it happened, and you know all about it." In both legal filings and in arguments earlier in the week, Trump's lawyers have made clear their position that the people responsible for the riot are the ones who actually stormed the building and who are now being prosecuted by the Justice Department. Democrats who wrapped their case on Thursday used the rioters' own videos and words from January 6th to pin responsibility on Trump. "We were invited here," said one. "Trump sent us," said another. "He'll be happy. We're fighting for Trump," one of the rioters said. In more national news, the Associated Press says over 9,000 virus patients sent into New York nursing homes. More than 9,000 recovering coronavirus patients in New York State were released from hospitals into nursing homes early in the pandemic under a controversial directive that was scrapped amid criticism it accelerated outbreaks, according to new records obtained by the Associated Press. The new number of 9,056 recovering patients sent to hundreds of nursing homes is more than 40% higher than what the state health department previously released. And it raises new questions as to whether a March 25th directive from Governor Andrew Cuomo's administration helped spread sickness and death among residents, a charge the state disputes. The new figures come as the Cuomo administration has been forced in recent weeks to acknowledge it has been underreporting the overall number of COVID-19 deaths among long-term care residents. It is now nearly 15,000, up from the 8,500 previously disclosed. In business news, U.S. jobless claims fall slightly to 793,000 with layoffs high. The number of Americans seeking unemployment benefits fell slightly last week to 793,000, evidence that job cuts remain high despite a substantial decline in new confirmed viral infections. Last week's total declined from 812,000 the previous week, the Labor Department said Thursday. And finally, in entertainment news, Ludacris is cooking in the kitchen on new streaming show. Ludacris can rap, write songs, and act. He just can't cook, and no, opening cans and slapping together bologna or grilled cheese sandwiches doesn't count. Back in his days off, as he says, not having two nickels to rub together, Ludacris would throw together whatever he could find, chow down, and get back to his music. He's finally upping his skills in the kitchen in Luda Can't Cook, a 1-hour special that debuts on February 25th on the Discovery Plus streaming service. He gets schooled by a celebrity chef who introduces Ludacris to international flavors and techniques. Ludacris isn't the only entertainer in the kitchen. Singer Selena Gomez has been upping her quarantine cooking skills on Selena Plus Chef, which was renewed for a second season on HBO Max. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's now time for the Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Mary Ellen with your Truth of the Day. See your many opportunities for advancement and fulfillment. Many of you may feel stuck in a rut right now due to the many issues that are surrounding our planet. However, you can unstick yourself by doing something new. Explore unfamiliar worlds of knowledge. Challenge yourself to read unfamiliar books. Watch educational or historical documentaries to broaden your horizons. Search the Internet for opportunities to aid you toward achieving a new level of success for yourself and or your product. These inquiries you seek will not only add to your fulfillment, they will also give you a new path to follow towards success. God has given you this time, this opportunity to advance yourself. Be sure you take advantage of it. Today, expand your horizons to once again approach life with excitement and enthusiasm. And remember, enjoy the day.
As I mentioned, Wendell Bertrand is featured in today's Entertainment Spotlight, right here on Conversations Daily News. For Conversations Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with the Entertainment Spotlight. Wendell Bertrand is someone who's made a name for himself not only because of his fitness journey, but also as an entrepreneur and photographer as well. He rejoined me on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about it. Here's a bit of that conversation.
You've been able to do what so many people try to do, right? You've been able to make a name for yourself online, be able to share your offline journey. What has this experience been like for you to see the way that people have responded to your work?
Sometimes I still can't believe it. All I can do is, honestly, I just be myself daily and try to motivate as many people as I can because, like I said, I just can't believe it sometimes that just me being myself can attract so many people, or so many people are motivated or inspired by the things that I do.
Has that always been easy for you, though, Wendell, to be yourself? I think it is so important in business for sure, but is that something that has always been easy for you?
Not always. Sometimes it can depend on like the people that you're around. Sometimes we can have like the peer pressure, and sometimes we can be afraid to be ourselves authentically. But I think to be successful, to connect with more people, to the masses, you just have to authentically just be yourself and just go with the flow with everything.
Well, I think a lot of people, myself included, Wendell, got to know you because of the health and fitness journey that you began, of course, with your work with Herbalife, and then what you've been able to do, with people, not only through the products, but also through your own example. I mean, you literally have been front and center. I want to talk about that because, I mean, you have become a brand in yourself. Was that a conscious thing? I mean, did you realize that you were going to kind of be the person that people looked at as an example of what they could do?
Not at all, man. I swear, when I first began, like I mentioned before in the past, it's like I only started posting to Instagram to pretty much motivate myself, show myself what I don't like about myself, post things that I don't like so I can see what I want to change.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning in to this edition of Conversations Daily News. We'll be back with you guys on Monday with more news, truth, and of course your entertainment spotlight. Until then, I'm your host Cyrus Webb saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Daily News today. Let's make it a great one.